You've probably heard people say vitamins are good for your health, but have you ever wondered if they could actually help with something as intimate as your erections? It might sound surprising, but there's a vitamin that's been studied for exactly that reason, and today we're going to talk about it. Well, I'm Dr. Nerea Wolf, urologist and pelvic surgeon, and if you ever face questions or concerns about your urological health, especially something as personal as erectile function, stay with us. We're here to help you understand your body with clarity, compassion, and without judgment. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm a board-certified urologist, and I make videos on all kinds of urologic topics, from bladder health to sexual wellness, because I believe everyone deserves honest, compassionate medical guidance. If this resonates with you, please subscribe and share this video. It helps more people find the information they need. So let's dive in. Today we're talking about folic acid, a nutrient you might associate with prenatal vitamins or leafy greens, and whether it can actually improve erectile function. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Folic acid, isn't that what pregnant women take? Yes, absolutely. Folic acid is well known for supporting healthy pregnancies. But here's something you might not know. Folic acid also plays a role in vascular health, the health of your blood vessels. And healthy blood flow is essential for erections. Let me explain. When you experience arousal, your body triggers a cascade of events. One of the key players in this process is something called nitric oxide. Think of nitric oxide as the spark that lights the fire. It signals the blood vessels in your penis to relax and expand, allowing blood to flow in. That's what creates an erection. Without enough nitric oxide, that signal weakens, blood flow decreases, and erections become harder to achieve or maintain. Now here's where folic acid comes in. Folic acid, also called folate when it comes from food, helps your body produce nitric oxide. It's like fuel for that ignition system. So if your folic acid levels are low, it could theoretically affect how well your body can generate the nitric oxide needed for strong erections. That's the science. But does it actually work in real life? That's what researchers wanted to find out. And recently, a group of scientists reviewed multiple studies to see if there was any real connection between folic acid and erectile function. Let me walk you through what they discovered. The researchers looked at 9 different studies. Some measured folic acid levels in men's blood, and others tested whether taking folic acid supplements improved erectile function. Let's start with the first part, folic acid levels in the blood. In 6 of these studies, scientists compared men with erectile dysfunction to men with normal erections. They measured something called serum folic acid, essentially how much folic acid is circulating in your bloodstream. And here's what they found. Men with erectile dysfunction had lower levels of folic acid than men without erectile problems. Not just a little lower, significantly lower. On average, about 0.94 nanomoles per milliliter lower, but it didn't stop there. The more severe the erectile dysfunction, the lower the folic acid levels. So men with mild ED had slightly low levels, but men with severe ED had even lower levels. There was a clear pattern. Now, that doesn't prove that low folic acid causes erectile dysfunction. Correlation isn't causation, but it does suggest there's a relationship worth exploring. So the next question was, if we give men folic acid, will their erections improve? That's where the second part of the research comes in. In 2 studies, researchers gave men with erectile dysfunction daily folic acid supplements for 3 months. The doses ranged from 0.5 milligrams to 4 milligrams per day, which is higher than what's typically in a multivitamin, but still safe. Before starting the supplements, the men filled out a validated questionnaire. This is a scientifically tested survey that measures erectile function with a numerical score. The lower your score, the worse your erectile function. After 3 months of taking folic acid, the men retook the survey. And here's what happened. Their scores improved, not just a little, significantly. Men who started with severe erectile dysfunction moved into the mild to moderate range. Their erections became stronger, more reliable, and easier to achieve. That's promising. But the researchers wanted to dig even deeper. So they looked at a specific group of men who tend to struggle more with erectile dysfunction, men with diabetes. Diabetes damages blood vessels over time, which makes erectile dysfunction more common and harder to treat. Even medications like Cialis, which are usually very effective, don't always work as well in diabetic men. So researchers tried something different. They gave diabetic men 10 milligrams of tadalafil, the active ingredient in Cialis, every other day. Then they split the men into 2 groups. One group also took 5 milligrams of folic acid daily. The other group took a placebo, a sugar pill. Neither the men nor the researchers knew who was getting what. That's called a double-blind study, and it's the gold standard for reliable research. After a few months, they compared the results, and the group taking folic acid did significantly better. Their erectile function scores improved more than the men who only took the medication. The combination of tadalafil and folic acid was more effective than tadalafil alone. Now, I want to be clear. This was a higher dose of folic acid than what's typically recommended. 5 milligrams is quite a bit. But importantly, the men tolerated it well. There were no dangerous side effects. A few experienced mild headaches, some lower back discomfort, or slight flushing, but nothing serious enough to make anyone stop taking it. So, what does all of this mean for you? Should you start taking folic acid if you're experiencing erectile dysfunction? Here's my honest answer. We're not quite there yet. The research is encouraging. It suggests that folic acid might help, especially if your levels are low to begin with. But we still don't know the perfect dose, how long you should take it, or how long the benefits last. What we do know is this. Low folic acid levels are linked to worse erectile function. Taking folic acid may improve erections, especially when combined with ED medications. It appears to be safe, even at higher doses. But before you go out and buy supplements, here's what I'd recommend. First, talk to your doctor. Folic acid is generally safe, but it can interact with certain medications, especially some seizure medications and others. Your doctor can review your medications and make sure it's safe for you. Second, consider getting your folic acid levels checked. A simple blood test can tell you if you're deficient. If you are, supplementing makes sense. If your levels are already normal, adding more might not make much difference. Third, think about getting folic acid from food. You don't have to rely on supplements. There are plenty of foods naturally rich in folate, the form of folic acid found in food. Here are some great options. Leafy greens like spinach, kale, and lettuce. Legumes like lentils, chickpeas, and black beans. Broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Citrus fruits like oranges and grapefruits. Bananas and melons. Orange juice and tomato juice. Mushrooms and yeast. Certain meats like beef, liver, and kidney. Eating a diet rich in these foods not only supports your folic acid levels, it supports your overall vascular health, which is critical for strong erections. Overall vascular health, which is critical for strong erections. Now, I want to be really clear about something. Folic acid is not a magic cure. If you're experiencing erectile dysfunction, the most important thing you can do is address the root causes. That means maintaining a healthy weight, staying physically active, especially aerobic exercise, which improves blood flow. Eating a balanced, heart-healthy diet, managing chronic conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol, reducing stress and prioritizing sleep, avoiding smoking and limiting alcohol. These lifestyle factors have the biggest impact on erectile function. They improve blood flow, boost testosterone, reduce inflammation, and support your nervous system, all of which are essential for strong, reliable erections. Folic acid might be a helpful addition, but it's not a substitute for taking care of your overall health. If you're struggling with erectile dysfunction, I want you to know something. You're not alone. Millions of men experience this, and it's not something you have to live with in silence or shame. Erectile dysfunction is often a sign that something else is going on. Maybe with your blood vessels, your hormones, your stress levels, or your overall health. And that's why it's so important to talk to a doctor, not just about erections, but about your health as a whole. Your body is trying to tell you something, and when you listen, when you take small, consistent steps to care for yourself, you give your body the chance to heal, to strengthen, and to function the way it's meant to. So whether it's adding more folate-rich foods to your diet, staying active, managing stress, or working with a urologist to find the right treatment, know that every step you take matters. You deserve to feel confident, you deserve to feel connected, and you deserve to feel like yourself again. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you, please share it with someone who might need it. And remember, take care of yourself because you're worth it.